Hello, and welcome today to another demo of the EKM webcast series with a countdown to Office 10. My name is Brad Millen. I'm a program manager with the graphics product unit at Microsoft, obviously, and today I'm here to talk to you about PowerPoint 10 and touch a little bit on Office Art 10. And the theme today would be to create your presentation, collaborate, and then present it. I'll be showing you some new animations today that were done inside of PowerPoint. So as the slides come on, you'll be seeing some animations you haven't seen before, and that's thanks to our friends in Office Activation Land who did a great job with our engine, our animation engine. At the beginning of PowerPoint 10, we had set out with some certain goals. Some of them are like any other application in Office. We want to keep increasing the easy use of our features and our product so that it's more exciting to the user to use on a daily basis. So you don't feel like you're doing work all the time, yet you're having fun while you're creating your presentation. And in hope, when you find it easy to create your presentation and you're having fun doing it, you'll see an increase in productivity as well. Finally, we created an end-to-end solution that we believe will help users get through their creation of the presentation from start to finish easy. This release we invested in a few key areas, and I've summed them up to a creation stage, and then you have a collaboration stage, which we've invested heavily in this release as well. And finally, some new features to help the user present more easily. I'm going to start off talking about the create phase. And the create phase helps you just get the content into your presentation. So it emphasizes inserting content and then formatting that content, and how we go about doing that to make it easier for the user to do so that they don't have to fuss around with their content as it comes in. So users add content to their presentations, whether it be text, slides, clip art, diagrams, pictures. In previous releases, what had to happen is everything would get shifted right onto the center of the slide, and then the user would therefore have to fuss with it thereafter to a position where it wasn't covering content already existing. But adding content wasn't the only problem that we had previously. We also had issues with formatting content, and that content you were bringing in from Word or Excel or from other PowerPoint presentations wasn't matching the presentation that you're currently building. So we optimized for helping the user out, get colors correctly, backgrounds, size of text, and even design templates with some key features. So this is the create phase, and what I'm going to do now is provide a little bit of a demo of each of these areas so that the user gets benefits from creating a presentation easily. What I'm going to do now is just switch over to my my demo, and part of the way we've helped the user out this release is just starting off PowerPoint as easy as can be. It used to be there was two dialogues you had to go through. One, you had to decide what you wanted to do, and then the next dialogue that came up was the dialogue pertaining to slide layout. This release, this is how PowerPoint opens up, whether it's an existing presentation or a new presentation that you're starting. So the user can easily click into a placeholder and type whatever they wish, and off they go, rather than going through dialogues. We've also added a new slide button up here. It might seem trivial, however, ask users who've had a hard time trying to insert an additional slide to a PowerPoint presentation in the past, and they'll be quite happy to see that this is some of the functionality that we've added. So hopefully this helps the user begin to start a presentation easier this release, and hence increase productivity there alone. Other things that we've also done is we've leveraged the task panes and the webcasts easily. I'm going to switch to applying automatic layout. So in terms of inserting content, there's several ways users do it. They can either insert from the insert menus up here, or the user could grab content from another application and bring it into PowerPoint. In previous releases, again, it would just drop onto the center of the slide. However, this release, if I go and insert a table here, you'll see that the table, if I get rid of the little dialog there, the table gets inserted to a position where there isn't content because we've rearranged the slide layout in terms of getting it easier for the user just to get content in there without it overlapping previous stuff. Now, if the user doesn't like this and they wish to the old school method of everything goes to the center of the slide, then they have this little on-object UI here, which is the smart tags, where the user can easily flip it back to old behavior. Another investment that we made in terms of inserting content was getting rid of the double-click to add object layout. We didn't quite get rid of it. What we did is we converted it to a layout that more benefits the PowerPoint user in terms of what they want to insert into a presentation. So if I flip to the work pane here and go down to the slide layouts, you will see that from our layouts we no longer have this empty placeholder. What we do now is we have a placeholder where you can, with one click, insert a table, insert a chart, a clip art, a picture, an org chart or a diagram, or even media clip. And we felt that, you know, this was more important to the user in terms of what the user wanted to insert than inserting OLE objects, which is what, when you double click this placeholder here, you ended up launching OLE objects and inserting like Word or Excel into your document. And as you can see here, it's quite accessible from our UI to get to these various types of layouts. If I switch to a 2 content layout or a 3 content and a 4 content, and I go ahead and insert some pictures here, you'll see that we easily insert them to the dialog. So there's one that I inserted. It also works with clip art. So if we launch clip art, it would do the same. If I want to insert a table just goes in. If I want to insert an org chart drops in, and it's quite easy for the user to get content into their presentation. Also, it also mirrors the layouts that you have. So if you switch around between different layouts, we remember where things were and place them accordingly. The next way we've helped improve creation of a presentation is with respect to formatting content. Now, I'm sure with all the other apps having already done their webcast for the series, you've seen enough of the smart tags with respect to copy paste. So we won't need to go there. However, I would like to show what PowerPoint does in terms of an aggressive behavior with respect to making everything look good in your presentation with respect to the use of the smart tags. So here we have a slide. It has no design template applied to it. So what we're going to do is just right to this slide, if I paste in, we take on the look of the existing presentation by default. But if you're, it's imperative that you have your old look, we still preserve that and let you get back to it as you wish. Not only do we do that, but it also allows you to take advantage of the Apply Automatic Layout feature within the same smart tag. So here we have a dual smart tag where you can change formatting and you can change positioning of the content all in one shot. Another use of the smart tags that we used was with respect to our auto layout feature. In previous releases, when a user inserted content onto their slide and it went outside their placeholder, we had no way of maintaining that in their placeholder. The user had to, split the slide between two, move content, copy paste it. What we've done in this release is we've allowed the user to continually input content to their placeholder. People aren't just presenting in a large boardrooms anymore or at venues where everyone needs to see the content at large. PowerPoint publishes to the web, and people are doing this with the app itself as well. And so we felt the need to reduce the number of times content is flying outside of the placeholder. However, we've kept old functionality around that we thought was very useful in terms of if you have too much content in your placeholder, you can click on the on-object UI, the smart tag here, and you can split this text on this slide between two slides. You can continue on a new slide, which will take the title of this slide and move it to the next, insert your insertion points so you can continue to type away, or you can change this to a two-column layout as such. Which in this case wouldn't be great, as now you can't read anything on your slide whatsoever. But the functionality is there, again, courtesy of the smart tags. So if we clip down here to the task pane, you've already seen the task pane with respect to the layouts in PowerPoint. We provide the same amount of layouts we had last release, and then we've increased, adding 2 object by side and a 3 object as well. But more important use of the task pane is the notion of the design templates. We actually have a button here which is called Slide Design. The Slide Design button launches this Slide Design pane, and the purpose of this was to provide a quick and easy method of formatting your entire presentation. As you see, the user can choose a design template and have it applied to the slide, and it'll apply it to the presentation. The user can also change the color schemes through here. So I can change the color scheme as we go on the fly and see all the edits in real time in my presentation without having to deal with dialogues, which we feel definitely increases the productivity of our product. And then we have a notion of an animation scheme this release. I'll step more into animations in a bit, as we've invested largely in the area this release, but it should note here with respect to the task pane that animation schemes can be applied easily to your entire presentation. You no longer have to add an animation for every single slide or look for slide transitions that are different. We have a way of doing that for your entire presentation here. So if I were to add a faded wipe, this here would be added to each of the slides, and there you go, I'm done. And the way you do that is you just click the apply to slides, all slides, and then it applies it to all slides. This same scheme would be applied to each of the slides. If you wish to have animations that are different per slide, you can see here that slide 8 has a little star beside it. This one here indicates that it's been animated. If I wish to have a different one here, I can have appear in dim, which is like this, or I could do a fade to all as well, and then it has that one. But if I would just like to clear all the transitions, I can do an apply to all slides, and that means every slide therefore gets animated. Something that you're seeing here is you're seeing slideshow inside the presentation tool itself, rather than having to do an animation, then go to slideshow, see how your animation actually works, and then come back to slide view to insert more content or whatever. And this is part of our increasing productivity and actually adding a bit of excitement and fun to your presentation creation, because everything you need is right here in front of you. So I'm going to switch back to the presentation here, and I'd like to talk more about this creating. We talked already about getting started quickly and inserting content. We also went through quickly formatting your presentation and the quick ways that PowerPoint allows you to do that. And our second last point I'd like to bring up is more about animations, and then we'll move to graphics. So with respect to animations, this here is an animation that is a default animation found in the product. I didn't have to do anything fancy for that. We went over the notion of animation schemes. An important note is that these are also customizable and extensible to to the user. So I can take PowerPoint and I can take two different animations and I can mush them together and create a new animation and save that within within the builds itself, so that I can use that animation every time I want, so I can customize it. And extensibility, well, you can build continually new animations every single day if you like, and send them around your friends and or amongst your coworkers. The next topic I'd like to talk about is custom animations. And this here is really a powerful tool that we have this release. And what it has to do with is, let's get rid of our animations to begin with here. So here we have an animation scheme that I once applied an animation to, and I just wiped it out easily. I'm going to select this first point here. And I'm going to pull up the custom animation work pane. So this is a work pane which is very much a top of the line animation tool with respect to any of the other applications that we have. What I'd like to show first is a means of doing simultaneous effects. So I can have this first bullet point here. I'm going to add an effect to it, and it'll be an entrance effect I'll add. And we'll pick out a snazzy effect here. We'll go with a curve up and go OK. And then while this is entering with one effect, I can also add another effect, which is, let's say, we'll have it fly in. And as you're seeing here, a list box is being created with these various animations. You can set the timing and the synchronous of these animations by pulling down this drop down here, and I can say I'd like this to start with the previous animation. So now if I take this and play it in here, you'll see that it came up and it flew in at the same time. You can control the speed of these, so I can make this slow so it comes up slowly, and then if we play it, you'll see it happen together. Now what you saw here is you saw the actual timeline. So what happens is anything that you animate now inside of PowerPoint using our custom animation pane, you can control the duration. You can also control, like, I want this one here to start after this one ends, and I'd like that to happen with using this timeline. So as you can see, it's a fairly sophisticated feature, but yet it's quite easy to use with respect to within the UI. If I'd like to remove this animation, I could just remove it, or I could simply hit delete on the keyboard, and we can get rid of animations altogether. Let me go down here to the so again, it's modeless. It increases productivity in terms of no longer having to switch between slideshow and your slide for each animation that you're making. We have simultaneous entry animations that you've seen. We've seen the timeline, and if one thing that we haven't seen actually is an exit animation, which in previous releases you had to fake out as we didn't support it. So I'll add an entrance one here, which is the box. And then I'll go and add another effect, which will be an exit here. And we'll just do a fly out. And then if we run this all together, the slide will animate. And then the last point will fly out. Oh, went a little too fast. However, here's something that I created with path animations. So not only are we able to have exit and entry animations, but yet we can also add path animations. So if I select this car here, for instance, actually we'll animate the title in to show once again that we can have an entrance, and we'll have it fly in, and we'll turn off preview so that it doesn't happen every time that you make a change. And I'll have it fly in from the left. Then I'll take this car and I'll have it enter flying in from the left as well, and then I'll set this animation to start with the previous. So now if I show this, I have both of these happening together. A little slower, but That one's very fast. That one's fast. And then what I'd like to do is draw a path animation to show the ability to draw your own custom paths. So I'll take this freedom tool, and what I can do is I can draw a line here and then draw a line back, draw another line. And so right now I'm just creating a path animation, and the car will be going back and forth. Then what we'll do is we'll add another effect, which is an exit effect, and then we'll clear it off the slide by flying out to the right. And we'll play that in. So here it comes in, and you'll see it do the path animation and then fly out. So this adds a lot of power to creating your presentation. The next topic that we're going to talk about is graphics. And oh, here, I'll show you a presentation that we created with custom animations. This here was done last night by an Office Art developer, an Office Activation program manager, and it's done quite easily. So now PowerPoint can also be your advertising tool per se. Within PowerPoint, there's a lot of graphics that are created with our presentations, and the Office Art group has done a great job this release extending what they offered in previous releases in the ways of support for more than the 3 Office applications that they supported in previous releases. So now we've added Publisher and Front Page to support Office Art, which means that the user pretty much has a consistent Office Art UI across the box. So PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Publisher, and Front Page, and you can even say Outlook with respect to WordMail will all share the same graphics tools. And this is a real big good thing for an Office user with respect to having a consistent UI across the box. They've added a feature as well called picture compression, whereby it scans your entire presentation looking for pictures, and has the ability to compress the picture where necessary without disturbing the resolution and preserving the picture quality. And this is a great tool with respect to saving on file size of your PowerPoint presentation. A feature that I'd like to show, and I'm not sure if the Word group had shown this already, but it's an Office Art feature with respect to the drawing canvas. And if I go to a Word document and I insert my insertion point here, and I'd say, well, I'd like to draw something in here. Oh, let me pull up the toolbars here. I'd like to grab a square and do a diagram. So what we do is we launch a drawing area for the user to draw in now. So I can put a square here. I can add a circle here, and I can create a flow diagram inside of Word's space, and yet not have it mess with the formatting of my current document. Previously, you'd have to insert it and then click on the objects and have them, the text wrap around the object. But this is a great way that the user can now quickly insert. You can also set it, so we give you a great area to start your drawing in. And if this is all that I want to draw, what we can do is we can just click the Fit button here on the Draw toolbar. And what it does is it just brings it down, wrapping around the size of my diagram within my Word document. The next is I'd like to show some diagramming features. We've invested heavily with our diagramming inside of Office Art this release. Reason being is now everything is native to the Office application rather than being needing an OLE server in previous releases. This is a big win for the Office user, definitely with respect to performance in our apps. So I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm going to insert an org chart. So we insert an org chart, and as you can see, the org chart is inserted and it takes on the same look as what the presentation is. So this is the default color for our org charts for our shapes in drawing. And then we have this toolbar here that we can work with. What you can do is you can add shapes. If I select a shape here, I can add a subordinate worker, and we insert that. If I would to grab this shape here, we could add a coworker, which would add it to the same line, or we can add an assistant for this user. And it's just click and you can type, and away you go. An impressive feature as well is definitely how you'd like to lay out your org chart. So what I have to do is I have to select one of the top nodes, and then I can choose to have everything left hang, or I can choose to have it right hang, or I can go back to the standard layout as we saw. However, we've added the notion of styles as well this release to our org charts, which go along with the color schemes and the design template. So if let's look for the brackets one. Oh, not ready yet. There it is. This one here has transparency, and here's a gradient one. Let's go with this one here. We'll apply this, and then what we'll do is we'll also change the color scheme here, and then we'll change the design template to have a different design. And then as you saw there, the colors all changed as well, matching whatever diagram type that you're currently working with. A fun type of thing you can do with your diagrams as well in terms of adding excitement is you can animate these now. So if we were to take this type of diagram, and I could apply an animation to it. So let's get rid of this. So we'll select our org chart here, and then we'd like to add an effect. We'll add an entrance effect, and we would like to actually have it there's a rote pinwheel here. But now what I can do is I can change the effect so that we can animate the effect all at once in a clockwise inward motion. So if we were to play this and preview it, you saw that just with minimal clicks in terms of setting this, the first one comes in, the second one, and the third one. So it makes it quite easy for a user now to animate their diagrams, which is a great feature as well. Other investments that happen with the graphics group this release was we've added actually better graphics effects. With this, we'll go back to a demo and show anti-aliasing, which we previously did not have in our presentations. So what I would like to do is show this here with just a blank white background, and I'll move this into slideshow so we can really see the differences. So here's two motorcycles, and one is aliased and one is anti-aliased, and you can definitely see the difference here in terms of the edges. Well, this was what every picture looked like in PowerPoint 2000 or Office 2000. And then here in 2002, you have a better looking motorcycle. And then the next feature I'd like to show is the true transparency, which is a feature that was added this release. In 2000 on the left here, you'd have 3 different circles, and this was as much as what you could do with the circles in terms of overlapping them. However, this release, you can see that it's a true transparent in terms of the user can have these cross colors are like the red and the blue are creating a purple-like And you can also see right through to the design template as well. And this is set easily within the UI as well. So we talked about the creation process, and that's pretty much how everything that happens when a user creates. So they get content into their document, they format that content, they can then animate that content, and they have to sometimes add graphics, and if they do add graphics, we're adding better graphic support to the PowerPoint presentation. The next topic we'd like to look at is the notion of collaboration. We've really done a great job this release looking at the collaborative features and having them sync up as well with all the other collaboration features across Office. So we're going to do a build here of first the review cycle and then talk about the UI with respect to the collaboration feature in PowerPoint. So an author begins with an original PowerPoint presentation, and then they send it for review. The way they send it for review is just simply via the file send to for review, and we'll show this in the UI when I give a demo of it. So I were to create a presentation and send it out to you, you would get a copy, and to you there'd be no differences in the copy. It would just look like a normal PowerPoint presentation. When you open it to edit it, you don't have to do anything special or different with it. And the reason being is what we've done is we've embedded a copy of the true author's document within the reviewer copy that gets sent around. And what that allows us to do is to do a compare when the original author gets the copy back. So what you have is the author merges the content between the two presentations here, and then it has a merged document with respect to reviewer A and reviewer B, and then the original documents are there as well. Now I'm going to just quickly go into a demo of the feature and to show you what the UI would look like with respect to various aspects of it. So one thing that we've made better this release is definitely the notion of our comments. Well, we've improved these in terms of it now has a hover over marker, and you can just add these comments to your presentation as you wish. And in doing so, we allow, this one here was done by Howard Cooperstein, a program manager as well. And so we allow notion of every user who edits your document is assigned a color, and the name is on the document, so that the original author knows what has happened and who has done what to their presentation. As you see, there's a new task pane that's up to the right-hand side that we haven't seen before, and this is the revision pane. And there's two views to the revision pane. There's either a list view or there's the gallery view. Now the gallery view is a view in which all the changes that a single user did to a particular slide that I'm looking at, which is just this one slide, are all together. So if I say in here, I'd like to see how B. Miller created this slide, you just simply click the checkbox, and then what will happen is we'll change the slide to be exactly as I had changed it. Or what we can do is we can say, well, I don't like that. Let's see what this individual here did. Well, and then what we're doing is we're just flipping in between. So we have various views here of the presentation based on user changes. So this is one view that you can play within to see what has changed and what hasn't changed. The other view is a list view. And this view here, I can choose which reviewers I'd like to show and which comments I'd like to show. So currently I'm showing all the reviewers' comments and all their edits at the same time. So if I don't want any one individual's contributions to the process, you can simply just click and remove these people from your presentation. So we'll add them back just for the notion of seeing what a different view looks like. So again here, Howard made a change to the slide. When we merge the changes together, what we do is we do a document compare. Now there could obviously be, you can imagine that there's conflicting changes. So user A changed the design template, and user B changed it to a different. So the collaboration feature has the ability to control and deal with these conflicting changes. And this icon here represents everything that was changed that conflict at a single time. So we can also, you see that if I click over any of these comment marks over here, it shows who the user was and what they had changed. So here's a conflicting issue with respect to design templates. There were 3 people who had changed the design template. So what we can do is you can only select one of them, and then you can either reject the others by simply not checking them, or you can throw them all away and not have any of them if you so desire, back to your own original look. There's also another method of dealing with your collaborative changes through review, and that has to do with the review toolbar. So not only is there a revision pane, but you can step through each of these and it walks you through all the various changes that people made on your presentation. So in a nutshell, a quick nutshell, that is definitely our collaborative scenario. So the last section that I'd like to introduce is some changes that we've made to presenting your PowerPoint presentation. So we looked at where we weren't doing so well in previous releases and where we can improve, and a certain means of presenting in PowerPoint is definitely the printed method. And in previous releases, we never supported print preview. However, this release, we certainly do, and we'll switch to our create demo here, and we can do a file. Print preview, and as you'll see, it looks and feels exactly like any of the other print previews that you have. The reason that this is important is if I decide I'd like to print in grayscale versus color, then the user actually sees what changes PowerPoint was making to the slides in previous releases that were never known to the user until actually the printed copies came out. So this is a great investment for us in terms of showing the user exactly what they're getting each time that they do print something. So we'll go and close out of here, and we'll move back to the slideshow. So that was our print preview. The next area that I'd like to show is with respect to our multi-monitor. The multi-monitor feature is an add-in for PowerPoint, and it's not accessible through all laptops, but as all the new laptops are coming out, they're definitely coming out with a support for multi-monitors. So what I'd like to do is, before I go on and show our final area that we'll look at in terms of presenting, which is recording your presentation with our broadcast feature, we'll go through and I'll show you the UI for presenting with multi-monitor. So up on your screen right now is a view that you would see if you're presenting. Now the audience would obviously only see the single slide, but what this does is it adds great control to the user when they're presenting. So I have a big bar here, which allows me to navigate around in my slides. So at any one time, I can just click a slide and say, I'd like someone asks a question regarding slide 9. Well, I can just click right to slide 9 and see what we're talking about. I also have the control to move backwards and forwards easily here, which in normal slideshow, you have to right click and pull up the menu list, and that actually shows visibly to everyone who is watching in. You have a black screen button that you can click in terms of if you'd like to move to a demo. And an important feature, it lets you know what slide you're on of how many you have, so that there's no surprises at the end of your presentation when you think you're done with a slide and yet, oh, there's another slide there. Plus it records your time in terms of how long you've been going. For instance, if you only have 20 minutes to present. So our final one that I'd like to show, and here we go, I have to go back here. Previous. previous. So you can see the need for the new multi-monitor support right there. I'd like to show the last way we've improved how to present, and that has to do with being able to sit like we're doing here in a webcast, but actually do this at your desk and record this type of presentation delivery for our archival purposes. Now we've previously had the feature in the past, which was our broadcast feature. If we go up here to slideshow, actually we'll pull up a new presentation so that it's and then we'll save this one. So what this feature does, we're going to use our broadcasting feature to walk through a presentation and record it live at your desk, where if you don't like how it turned out in the end, you can always go back and change it. So we had the notion previously of an online broadcast, and we invested to make this feature easier to use. And hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate here how easy it is actually to walk through, especially the record scenario. But it's also important to note we do support scheduling a live broadcast. So if I'd like to do a broadcast later on to 10 people of my local team, we can do this through this feature here, and they get a reminder through Outlook that it sits on their desk, and then we can go ahead and run that live. That live one I can also record and archive so that I'm capturing meetings as well. Or I have the ability to just start a live broadcast now. The reason that we decide to invest more in the record scenario rather than the start live or the live broadcast like scheduling has to do with respect to support for the number of people who'd like to view your broadcast. If there's a great number of people, we therefore need the Windows Media Server. And as soon as we start adding the server to this feature, things become much more complicated. So I'll quickly just walk you through a record. So once you click our record button, you just add a description. So this is the webcast, and then you just type record. So it picks up my name, the company I work for, and then the presentation title in terms of how it's saved. So if we go and record this, it asks me if I'd like to replace a previous version that I did in just setting up. We'd quickly do a check of your mic and your camera to ensure that the user has everything hooked up properly. And it crunches through here. It's loading the encoder at the time. It'll take a couple seconds here to get this going. And the way we've improved the feature is really just to, as you saw, there was one click to start the record. I enter some information into the field that gets published to a web page. And then what happens is I am ready to go. Like, we do a quick check. So there you see the camera's capturing the content, and we'll close that. And then if we just get ready to start, we're all good. Unfortunately, we weren't able to provide a preview window where you can continually see yourself while you're presenting. So it's pretty much you have to set yourself straight and not jump around. Otherwise, you won't be viewed in the camera. So as we start the presentation here, what's happening is we're just going to launch slideshow, walk through my presentation, and what do you know? It couldn't couldn't start the encoder. We'll see if we can get her again here. It worked in the demo here just while we were setting up. Try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, you'll have to take my word for it, and I'll show you what the output actually looks like. Many of you who are watching who have tried this feature have probably run into this same issue before with respect to the encoder not being able to launch. Here we go. Try it one more time. I'll get ready to show the output here as it crunches through. Here we go. So there it was successful that time. So up in the corner here, you have just a slideshow, and this is my slide that I originally had. And as I'm presenting, I can click through and it'll animate, it'll do whatever, and capture all the animations at the same time as we're capturing the video. So I'm just going to click to end the slideshow here, and you'll see, we'll just quickly show the output that happens with respect. Now the output's just a web page, and what we do is we store that locally. So an alert comes up at the end when you're completed, and it asks if you'd like to replay your broadcast. Most of the times after a user completes it, you probably do want to see it, see how you did in terms of the recording of your broadcast. And this is the web page that launches with that we create. And what it does, it just has your broadcast here with your information all filled out. You can email feedback back to the user in terms of if this was, the presenter, if this was up on a server, and then we replay the broadcast, and as you see here we go. So there it was successful that time. So up in the corner here you have just a slideshow, and this is my there we go, we're just capturing the data. And that's about it for the recorded broadcast scenario. Apart from that one little error that we had with the encoder, you can see that it is quite easy and that we really have optimized for that scenario, this release. So that about brings to the end of our presentation on PowerPoint, walking through the features. Again, I'd like to emphasize that we tried to get a release together that surrounded the notion of creating a presentation and then collaborating on that presentation and then presenting it. And we stayed focused with those areas. And the features that we've added, we really feel have improved ease of use, have improved your productivity while you present and while you create and when you collaborate, and as well as hopefully it makes it a little more fun while you're working and creating your presentation. So that's about the end. If there's any questions, I guess we field the questions now.
There's not any right now. So.
Okay, perfect.